Good morning, everyone. My name is Hlezi Pinapai, as it shows on the slideshow. So this morning, I'm going to take you through the following overview on research methodology material that you can find from the UNISA library. But first, I just want to indicate to you that as both master's and doctoral candidates, there are tools that you need to use to plan your research studies or your research projects, to gather data and make sense of your findings. So these are your research methodology material that you'll find from the UNISA libraries. And there are tools that you have to use in the library to do that. So this is going to be my overview for this morning. We will quickly go through the UNISA institutional repository, where you will find chapters in most of the thesis and dissertations that are deposited in our institutional repository for research methodology examples. There are a lot of queries that come from masters and doctoral students. They want to see the kind of the example of a thesis. You all know now that your work as masters and doctoral students is going to finally, your thesis and dissertations are going to be deposited into our institutional repository, where some students that are aspiring to register for M&Ds will go and look at these and see an example of how a thesis or a dissertation looks like. And in those thesis and dissertations, there are usually chapters in those that talk to methodologies where you can go and find an example on how other students are using this. And secondly, we're going to go through the library catalog, where we're going to search for either print or ebooks for research methods material, as in print or in ebooks. We will quickly also go and look at articles. Remember the last time we did searching for articles for your specific topics, but you can also search for articles on research methods or methodology material. And there's this very nice database that UNISA subscribes to, which is called Sage Research Methods Online. And it has a lovely way of displaying methodologies. There's what we call a method space there, where you can go and have a look at a methods map, and there's also a method space for all the M&D students, where you can go and register an account where they discuss methodologies. And this is a database that is compiled by the research methodology gurus. All the experts in methodologies have compiled this database. It actually started as a social science database, but it has since grown into, it includes other research areas, like, some of the sciences are also included in this database. And it also has what we call Sage Knowledge, where you'll find references like your dictionaries or your encyclopedias, where they explain the concepts of methodologies, whether it's qualitative or quantitative kind of studies. So this is where you're going to enter the UNISA library from the main university's homepage. I'm going to go through the slides first, and then we'll go live so that I can demonstrate everything I've just mentioned in my overview. So this is the entry to the university's page to the library. You just click on this link here. Remember, we don't have a presence in my UNISA, but you also have to have registered on the MyUNISA so that you can have that password to use with all your transactions with the library. So this is your entry point to the library. You must now be familiar with this page. This is the library's homepage. You can either go through your UNISA institutional repository via your library guide, or you can just, at the bottom of this page here, there are services for postgraduate students. I'm sure by now you've gone through what is there for you as an M&D student and all the UNISA libraries around the country. So if you click on that services for postgraduate students, you're going to land on this page. So this is all what is available for you as a postgraduate student at this institution. But today we're going to look at the UNISA institutional repository. There's a link on your library guide for your UNISA institutional repository, but I preferred to go through this route. So when you click on it, it will open a page like this, where you will land on the institutional repository page. Remember, once you are done with your master's or your doctoral, your work will be deposited here. So this is the entry point where you can click on to get into the institutional repository. The last time those who attended some of our training, I mentioned that the UNISA institutional repository, it's classified under communities. So you have to know the college that you are registered with. So it's according to different communities. You can either go to your college. In this instance, I'm going to go to the College of Human Sciences because I'm also assisting students in some of the departments in this college. And once you've clicked on the college, it opens the whole college. But then under the college, there are subcommittees. So you have to know what is your school, whether you are under the arts or the humanities or the social sciences. So the College of Human Sciences is arranged according to schools, and any other college will probably have different schools. So if you belong to SAMS or to this College of Agriculture, you go to your specific school, and then you click on the school that you are registered under. So in this instance, I'm going to click under the School of Arts because I'm responsible for one of the departments in that school, which is Information Science, which is also one of the departments that I'm assisting. So when you click on the School of Arts, and the School of Arts has different departments, the way the School of Social Sciences will have different departments under. So under the School of Arts, I would go directly to my own department, which is the Department of Information Science. So if you know which is your school, your college, your school, and your department, you click on the School of Information Science, and then it opens the output of this particular department. So this is where all the students that are registered and have passed their master's and doctoral thesis, this is where all their work is deposited. And besides the work of the students, the department itself has its own research output posted here. But this morning, we are interested in the thesis and dissertations of this particular department. Obviously, you want to look at an example of a thesis in this department or a doctoral output of this particular department. So you click there, and then it opens a list. So when you arrive on this page, you can either go and browse according this. If you want to look at the type of a thesis, which is an M or D, you can go and limit according to the type. You want to look at the M's or you want to look at the PhDs. You can just go and browse according to the type. If you want to look at the advisor as well, you can even browse according to the advisor. For instance, if your advisor is a certain professor and then you want to look at the work of that particular professor, how many students were passed under him, and the style of their writing and the structure of what their thesis or their dissertations look like. You can even browse under the advisor's name, or you can look at the subject content of that particular thesis in that particular department. When you land on this page, you will see there are recent submissions. So this are some of the theses that were graduated recently, sometime in April. So you'll find their work here, or maybe last year, late in September last year. So you obviously you want to see the most recent one, and then you click on the title of this particular one, and it opens on the front page, the dedication, the acknowledgement, and then you go to the table of contents of that particular thesis. So as you scroll down on the table of contents of this particular thesis, you can see, I don't know whether you are able to see it's chapter 2, where it's literature review and the theories of that particular content of this particular title of the thesis, where there's an introduction and the sort of the basic background, or a chapter on research methodologies. So you can go and have a look at the chapter of the methodologies that were applied in this particular thesis, and how the layout of this methodologies. This is, of course, it's information science. For students who are registered in information science, it will be key to look at the structure of the thesis and quickly go and see how a research methodology chapter is sort of like it's framed under this, your research approach, design, and some of the research methodologies applied here. So this is how you're now going to look at an example of a thesis and see how a methodology part of a thesis is structured in a particular discipline where you are also registered. Okay, and secondly, we're going to look at how you can now go to the library's catalog and search for any methodology, print or ebooks in this instance. So remember, the main page is your UNISA online page. You click on library, you come to this page, and then you have to click on catalog search, where you're now going to search, an overall search of a topic of your choice, the methodology that you want to look at. You're going to click on the library catalog search, and you can do a keyword search here. When you do a keyword search here, my keyword here, it's just a plain research methods and in information science, or you can say research methods and psychology, research methods and health studies, or whatever subject that you are registered in. You use that as a keyword because you want to see a broader picture of what kind of books does this library have under research methodology in your specific subject area. And then you use "and" in capital letter because this is your connecting, what we call in library speak, a Boolean operator. So you use research methods, and you say "and psychology, and information science, and marketing, and communication science," whatever subject that you are registered for. And the system will generate titles of books according to what you have put in here. So I've got more than almost 2,000 hits on this particular research methods and information science. And then the system, because it ranks them according to relevancy. So your relevant titles will be at the top of your list. So I can see the first one, it says, this is a handbook of research on connecting research methods for information science research. But it's a print book because it's got a shelf number and it says it's available. So if I'm somewhere in Pretoria, I could easily walk to the library because we are open and go and fetch this title from the shelf. or I can just open the title and go and request this print book so that it's going to be sent to me. But just take note that this kind of search, you've looked at the entire collection. There's a mixture of print books and e-books. Let's say, for instance, you have to write this methodology section of your research project. You don't have time to come and request because it's a longer process. You can turn this whole search and search only under ebooks. So what are we going to do now? We're going to use this drop-down menu. When you click on it, it appears like this. You choose only ebooks because you don't have time to do all these requesting. So you go and limit according to ebooks, the same topic. You want to see what kind of ebooks does this library subscribe to as far as research methods in the area of my study, which is information science. And then you get a list. I had about almost 2,000 now. I've got about 1,000, about 100 and something. So these are the ebooks. And again, these are ranked according to relevancy. So the first handbook, the one that appeared here, it's an ebook. What I can do now is to click on the title of that ebook to see, before I even go to the website of that particular ebook, I want to save my data. You just don't climb on a website. First, click on the title of a book where it will give you a link to that particular ebook. Remember, we don't keep ebooks here at UNISA in the library. We subscribed to the publisher's list. So they are sitting out there. So you have to go and look at them from a specific publisher's website. But first, open the ebook, read the summary of the book, look at the table of contents of this particular book. You can see this is one of the most relevant books in the research methodology items as far as information science is concerned. So there are relevant chapters that I need. I can now click on the title of that particular book where it takes me to the publisher's website. When I arrive there, these are the chapters in this book. So I can download chapters. Depends on how many chapters I need. I download as I require, but keep in mind that you can only download a 10% of this particular book. Because of copyright issues, you're not allowed to download the entire ebook. Otherwise, publishers will go bankrupt. So as soon as you click on that link, the system is going to ask for your authentication, which is your student number and your MyUNISA password. We will know that a certain person somewhere, Dryfontein or wherever you are based, has logged onto this particular title of a book. So you won't be able to download the entire book. There are certain publishers that allow you to download the whole book. You can download it, but after a day or two, or depending on who the publisher is, they do allow you to download the entire book. And the idea is that they can see you want to use the book either online or download it. But after a day or two, it will disappear because they won't allow you to keep the book for yourself because it's against copyright issue. And it also will allow people to build their own little libraries from somewhere. And publishers don't like that. So you can either save the link of a book and just work on it online, or just take the chapters that you need and make sure that you reference properly. These are chapters of a particular book. They are not articles. Okay, so this is the publisher's website. Once you've opened a chapter of a book, it displays like this. You can view the full text here. And once you click on that full text PDF document, there will be a download, a link where you can download the chapter that you want to look at. Okay. Thirdly, you can also look for research methodology stuff from your subject databases. You all know that you have library guides, and on each of your library guides, we've placed databases for you to search for articles. So you've got a list in your subject discipline where you can just go and select a database and start typing research methods or research methodology in your, and then you link it with your own subject field in physics or in agriculture, whatever. You go to your library guide, you know how to do that. You go under articles, you choose any of these databases, and then it opens wherever you want to which database you want to choose. It opens a search prompt, and then you key research methods. But remember here now, because now you are limited, these international databases are very big, and you would have selected more than one database. For instance, if you choose from EBSCO, you get a list of databases to select so that you can do a cross searching for databases. So you've selected more than one database. So just make sure that when you put your research methodology or methods, you put this in quotes, meaning you want research and methods to appear next to one another. So I've put research methods in quotation because I want the two terms to always, when the system searches, those two research methods must be next to one another. So when you do the article search, it's not like when you do the book searching. So there you can open it up, and eventually you'll find that the system will search them together. But here you have to put it in code so that you limit according to research methods, and you want all these terms to appear next to one another. So I've done a sort of an open search here again under the keyword research methods in quotations. And when I start typing information science, the system prompts me to say, in some instances, this particular information science, it's also called library sciences. In olden days, we used to say library sciences. So when you see something like that, it's like when you're looking at maybe if you want to search for research methods, but you want to look at theory, and then the system will say, do you want models? Do you want framework? Do you want conceptual, whatever? So you take whatever the system prompts you to say, when you look at this, you can either include the following. So I took both information science and library science. So when you start searching on your own, and when you want to look at maybe, let's say, information science, but you want to look at the theories, the models, the conceptual frameworks and whatever, when the system prompts you for that, you must just take it, because this is my research method and this is my connecting phrase and capital and this. And then you do all the limiting. You can limit according to the years of publication to say, I want 5 years back, I want recent items, and I can only read English. You do all your limiters on this side. And as soon as you are satisfied with the hits, then you press search. So the system will give you all that you have limited on, and then it will rank this whole thing. Remember, when you start searching here, it always gives you according to the relevancy. So you take the top 50 articles, which are will be the most relevant. Here I've got more than 300 articles, but I know I can go through 50 or 150 to pick up the most relevant articles on research methods or methodologies on my specific subject area. And then you know the mantra where you go and look at use this hourglass to look at the abstract before you decide whether you want this or not. And most of them will come in PDF formats. And then you just add them to your folder. And then you go and view your folder. Once you are satisfied with your selection, Either you export it to your RefWorks or any of the reference management tool that you're using. You export the whole list there, all the PDFs will go there, or you email the whole list to yourself. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to go now and demonstrate to you how all of this applies in practice. But on your library guide, you have what we call Research Support tab. There are these two key databases for methodologies. Sage Knowledge it's one of the Sage publications where it lists handbooks and reference sources in case you want to go and look at a definition of a literature review, a definition of a concept on methodologies that you want to understand. It will give you reference sources, it will give you cases, it will give you handbooks and some of the e-books where you can go and have a look at. But we're going to particularly demonstrate Sage research methods online. So this is one of the databases that we pride ourselves to have. This database has evolved over the years. When you click on that on your library guide under research support on the Sage research methods online, it will allow you to browse according to different subject areas. It started as a social science database, but it has since included a lot of other disciplines. It's got computer science, and you can browse and see what research methodologies are there under your subject area. But it's also nice because it's got other browsing functions under the tools where you can have what we call a methods map. What a methods map looks like is that when you click on it, it maps the methodologies for you. We'll go into the system. I'll show you how you're going to do it. But what is also nice with Sage Research Methods Online is that you can just open a database and start typing any methodology that you think you want to undertake. If you want to look at the a literature review, you can type literature review, and then you'll find all kinds of material there. What is nice with this database, it also has a snippet of some videos. You know, there are different small clips of videos where one of the experts is talking on, it's giving you a hint of this particular methodology. Like, for instance, a literature review, you will have a clip on a literature review. A person will, one of the experts will be telling you how to undergo, how to approach a literature. How do you write a literature review? What do you do when you do a literature review? And there are a lot of clips on the kinds of methodologies. For instance, if you want to do sampling, what does it entail? A person will tell you when you do sampling as a methodology, how do you go about it? So you can either go and type whatever methodology you want to look at, or you can explore. At the bottom here, there's a list of things that you can do. But what I want to make you aware, on this database, if you do a search, you won't be able to select and send stuff to your email. What it requires is that you have to sign in and create an account so that you are able to add stuff to this particular database. So once you are signed in, I'll show you why I want you to sign in and open an account so that you can store anything that you select from here. It will be in your there will be a folder that will be created. So every time you open this database, you know all the things that you have searched will be sitting somewhere. So you have to sign an account here. I've signed in, it welcomes me as the name is there. And then this is the methods map. This is an example, but we'll go live. You'll see live how it looks like. It's under tools. When you click on it, it maps methodologies for you. It will give you an explanation what the research method is all about. And then it tells you that because you are in this research methods journey, all of this are the components of methodologies. If you talk about research methods, you have to talk about all of this. And any of these concepts, when you click on it, it has a hyperlink where it will give you articles on research design. It will give you articles and ebooks, chapters on data collection, on anything. So we're going to go live. This is the SAGE knowledge, which is a part of SAGE research methods. They are both from SAGE, where I say it gives you academic books, business cases, some references where you have to go, and maybe if you want to, you get an understanding of what a data analysis means, what are interviews, the kind of interviews there are out there, what kind of interviews do you want to choose as a methodology. And it also has, at the bottom, there's what we called a method space within the SAGE Research Methods Online. There's a method space. Here you can also create an account. It's a free account where you'll have a newsletter, and they will remind you, they will send or post things. And on this method space, there's what we call discussions on a weekly basis. So, and when I captured the screen on this week where the screen was captured, they were looking at quality focus as a data analysis methodology. So they discuss methodologies on a weekly basis. And at the bottom here, it gives you some of their past weekly discussions. If you are lucky in that week, once you have registered for this, they will be discussing maybe a methodology that you are actually using in your research project. So I would advise you to go and register, open. It's a free account. You won't pay anything. They discuss all the topics related to methodologies. Okay, so I'm going to go live. I think I'm not going to go through how you enter the system and everything because we have a very slow internet connection. What I'm going to start with, I just wanted to actually go through the library's homepage where I can show you where you're going to go and look at the chapters from those theses as an entry point. But I see the system is a little bit slow. We may as well just do a keyword search on the library catalog. We'll just reverse everything now and do a keyword search on the library's catalog. I'm going to close this because it's so slow. I'll start with the catalog where you're going to search for either print or ebooks on your specific topic. So you go to the library's catalog under the keyword search, and you just say, I'm looking for research methods in my own discipline. It can be psychology, health studies, education, agriculture, whatever you are registered for. Remember, this is a keyword search. It's going to be too broad, and then I submit. So the system will give me whatever. A keyword search, it's actually very broad. What is nice, if you want to be specific, you can either, when you get this mixed list of books, remember you'll have print, you'll have e. What I would advise you, if you see the most relevant book that is at the top of your list, what you can do is to click on that particular title of the book, and you look at the table of contents before you even click on the request button. Or you can, to save yourself time, you can look at the subject coverage of that particular book at the bottom of the list there. So this particular book is on information science research, or library science research, or library science research case studies as methodologies. So you can either, to expand your search, you can use these terms because these are hyperlinked, and you create another search so that you get only books that talk to these topics in your specific field of study. Okay, but if you want to request this one, you look at the summary, the table of contents, and then you can see there's lots of chapters that speak to research methods in my particular discipline. So you can either request this, or you can return to browse and tell the system, I don't have time to request, but I would love to have only ebooks listed on this page. So you limit according to ebooks, and then you search. So now the system will only give you ebook titles. Remember, they are also ranked according to relevancy. If, for instance, I'm looking for this one, the second one, research methods in library and information science, I can look at the chapters that are in this book, and I'm satisfied. I've read the summary of the book. I can go directly now to the host of this particular book, which is the publisher or an aggregator that is holding this book. So because I've already logged in your instance, you'll have that login page where you put your student number and your password, and then it opens on the publisher's page. So this is an ebook. There's a full downloadable option. I told you you can do that, but don't be excited that this belongs to you, because it will disappear within a day or two, depending on how long the system allows you to download. But what is nice in this instance, you can also go at the bottom of the page there, where you can see there are different table of contents, and there are different chapters that you need to, depending on what you're working on. So you can go and just open any of the chapters that you think will assist you with your research project. But make sure that when you download some of these chapters, you stick to the 10% copyright law, and you reference properly. These are not articles, but chapters from books. Okay, so this is how you're going to go to the catalog, do print and e, decide whether you want to go print. If you are near a branch and you see there's a book that is in Polokwane, Durban, and you are there, you can walk into one of the branches and just go and borrow the book. If you want to limit according to the ebook, you can do it on the system and just either read the book online, save the link of the book. For instance, this book is one of the most relevant ones as far as information science is concerned. There's a permanent link here. If I click on this permanent link, it will give me this link here. So I can save this. I can have a folder of my ebooks on my system, and I save this permanent link. Every time I click on this link, it brings me here where I can just, go and read it online, or just, I've downloaded chapter 1 and 2. Maybe next time I need 7 and 8. So you just save a permanent link onto the system, or you can just send it, you copy it on your email, and then you create a folder of your ebooks, whatever way you want to work. Okay. So these are ebooks from the library's catalog. Back to the search prompt. I want us to go now to the UNISA institutional repository. I hope it's going to open this time around, where I'm going to show you how you're going to now go to the UIR and look at your college, and you go and look at your under services for postgraduate students, you can either go through here or you can go through your library guides as well. You will find a link to the UNISA institutional repository. But I wanted to emphasize the services for postgraduate students so that you can see what more is there for you as a postgraduate student, because the last time we did the training, we went through our library guides. So I'm sure by now you all know where to find your library guides. When you click on this UNISA institutional repository under the services for all the postgraduate students, it will take you to the UIR page where you'll have a link to the system. This is an open access domain where most universities' outputs are placed. So UNISA has its own, TECIS will have its own, all the other universities will have their own UIR. And what is nice with this repository, because it's an open source domain, it will, I'm sorry about that. I think we're going to have to skip this one. If I do this and it's not letting me in, I think I'm going to move on because I don't want to waste your time. Let's try for the last time. So all the other institutions do have this kind. What is nice with the UIR is that if you go and if you have completed your master's or your PhD, if someone Googles you on a Google Scholar, they will be able to see what you have done, because it's there, it's out there, it's an open access domain. So your work will appear everywhere. Okay, so unfortunately, we cannot get on to this one this morning. Okay, I think I'm going to move on and go to, it's a pity I can't go to the UIR. I wonder if I can just copy the link. It doesn't want to open. I'm sorry about that, but you have the slides. We will be sending the slides. It's just sort of a path on how you get there, which is important. And once you're there, you choose your own department, and then you'll see the most recently submitted thesis or dissertations will appear on the list. When you're there, you can also browse according to your own supervisor. You can just check your supervisor. Okay, fine. It's not working. What I think I'm going to move on. Remember, I said to you on that libraries link, I see the library page is, I think I'm going to look for UNISA online maybe and see if I can go through the main UNISA page. I just want us to go through the library guides where I can just display to you how you're going to search for your articles on methodologies, or how you're going to search now for this the SAGE research methods online via your own library guide. If we can't get the online UNISA online page, I've got an A to Z list here. Where I'm going to go now to any of the databases that we subscribe to. I'm going to just to open one of them. I hope they will be working, because I tested this morning, they were working. Remember, on your library guides, when you click on your library guide according to a subject area, you've got different tabs. You've got books, you've got thesis and dissertations. And on that thesis and dissertations, you'll see you'll have a UIR link either on the first page of your guide, where you can just go according to your college, your school, your department, and your most recently submitted. You can browse according to your own, the subject you want to see. Maybe this particular has anyone ever in my space, I would want to see if information literacy has been done at UNISA by someone, whether it's an M or D. I can do a subject search there, and then I'll have thesis on information literacy. Even if I want to do information literacy in another context, then you can see the thesis that way, or thesis and masters. I mean, the thesis and dissertations done in that department on information literacy. And then I would open any of the work that has been done and go to the table of contents and look at the theories that were applied when these people were researching this topic, and also look at the methodology part there. If I'm happy, I can take notes. And with those thesis and dissertations, you can also download some of the chapters, especially on the methodology part, if it's something that talks to what you're looking at. So that you can do. And here you can go to your library guide and click on search articles or articles, and you open any of these databases. So here I've opened one of the Academic Search Ultimate, which is it's one of the generic databases. I can go and choose more, but because the system is sort of like sensitive this morning, I'm not going to choose more databases at this stage. I just want to display to you how to do the research methods searching on these databases for articles in this instance. Okay, so when you start typing, in some instances, it will say, are you looking for research methods in business students, in education, in psychology, in whatever subject area? So if I'm in education, I would choose this phrase and say, I'm only interested in research methods in my discipline. Or I can say, I'm only looking at research methods in my own discipline, which is information science. And the system will say, sometimes it's also, people are also looking at library science, because the two, they are like synonyms. Are you also looking at that? And then I take what the system suggests. But before I even press the enter button, I'll have to tell the system, I'm only interested from, for instance, the past 5 or 3 years of methodology items or articles that were written on this particular topic. And I'm looking at only peer review items, and then I press the search button. So you can do any, or you can use research methodologies or methods or methodology, whatever you prefer. But because this is an international database, I've got all these funny languages which I cannot read. Then I can say to the system, I can only read English. Please give me only what I'm able to read. Then I limit according to the language. And I look at the first one. This is on designing a model or ethics of excellence. And I can see the subject term here. It's research methods, and it's on public libraries. If I want to look at more, remember I told you the last time that usually they'll give you a synopsis of an abstract. So this is not too informative. If you want to look at the entire abstract, you just place your cursor there, and then it brings, it's not working. Okay. You just click here, it will give you the entire abstract. Something is wrong with the entire system. So it will give you a full abstract before you even say to the system, okay, I'm happy. I've got a folder here which is empty, but I want to put stuff in my folder. I'll take one. I'll take number 2. Just take note that these come in PDF. These are actual full text articles. And I'm happy with that as well. And as soon as I've browsed through the 20, because it gives you 20 per page, you can go and say, I want to look at the first 50 on this page. And then you apply. Okay. Something is not right today. But as soon as it asks you to re-authenticate yourself, just do it so that you don't lose your search. Okay, so I've asked for 50 on the page. I see it threw my items out again. So I have to select the ones that I think will answer my methodology question. And as soon as I've gone through my first, remember they are ranked according to relevancy, and I've selected, and I've got 142, so I can go maybe the top 80. I know the lower you go, the less relevant they become. So I've got items in my folder. I'm happy. I go and open my folder there. I can either export this to my RefWorks account, where it's taking everything to my RefWorks account. So I know I can go and read all the PDFs there. I can make notes, and it will allow me to do my in-text citation as I open my Word document. So you can either send this directly to your RefWorks, or you can decide, okay, fine, you can send these references to your RefWorks and again send them to your email so that you can start working. But I think you can send them to your RefWorks as soon as you have an account there, because then your RefWorks becomes your library of all the references with all the PDFs sitting in one space. Those of you who don't have a RefWorks account, you must go and create one so that you can, when you work on these things, you can export everything or just directly send them to your email. But I think I prefer you to export them to your RefWorks account so that everything is there. Remember, your RefWorks, it's your library of references where you choose a citation style. And then when you start doing your write-up, you are able to create a bibliography as you submit per chapter of your work. So send them to your RefWorks account. Okay, so now that we can't open our library page where I would show you how you're going to go to your library guide and go to Research Support tab, where you'll have your SAGE knowledge and your SAGE research methods online. I hope it's going to open. We still have another 30 minutes. Let's just hang in there, or else because I've got it open already, I'll just go directly to SAGE. Okay, so if this path does not work, I'll open SAGE because it's already open on my system. Okay, something is not right. I'm going to go and open SAGE directly on my system from our A to Z list. So this is your Find e-resources on the library's homepage. It gives you an A to Z. You will be able to manipulate, to know this once you have gone through your library guides. So as soon as you know your library guide, you will get to know the hang of the A to Z list, where you will just go for S for SAGE. Under S, you go for SAGE Research Methods Online. I've already signed in. You can go and create an account. It's a free account. It will allow me to save some of my research methodology stuff that I'm selecting from this list. So what is nice with this database, I can just, for instance, I can just type anything from the onset. But you can explore more. There are books and references, there are cases, there are data sets, there are videos, there are podcasts. And why I want you to create an account is that when you work on the system, you can always tell the system that I only want to see the stuff that my library subscribe to. It's so frustrating to get all these nice little clips of videos, all these nice articles, only to find that your institution doesn't subscribe to. So you can, when you do the search here, try to make sure that you tick where it says, please show me only what my institution subscribes to, so that you don't get frustrated. Before I even start demonstrating this, I just want to show you that at the bottom of this list, you can also find it from your library guide. There's this Sage Knowledge, where it will also give you a list of references. You can do a search, directly a search here. Okay, it's slow. You can also sign here, sign in and create an account on Sage Knowledge. You can browse according to discipline. It allows you to put any of the disciplines here. So it's got all kinds of disciplines. You can go and look at any of the subjects areas that you are registered in and see if there are dictionaries, encyclopedias, reference sources, or any of the ebooks that you want to look at under any of these subject areas. Okay. Or you can browse according to the collection. There are business cases and the academic books, which are all your ebooks on these specific topics. Okay, so these are the collection that we subscribe to under Sage Knowledge, but I'm not going to look at the Sage Knowledge as a way of practical demonstration. I just want to go down here and show you that you can register an account with the method space. So this is a space of all the experts on methodologies. So this focus, this quarterly focus, today they are on data analysis, and it will show you that they've been discussing. So these are discussions that have been going on since August the 8th. They were talking about making statistics accessible and relevant in politics and IR. Systematically coding qualitative data. So here you find experts of methodologies discussing a topic. And when you're lucky in the day when you listen up or you log in, they might be discussing what you are also battling in your kind of methodology, whether it's qualitative or quantitative. Any kind of methodologies will be discussed at the method. This is a space for methodologies. And there are topics that are being discussed. You can register, subscribe, you sign in for their newsletter, and then you register an account where you come, you look at stuff that are discussed on a weekly basis. So it's actually on a daily basis, because if you look at these dates, on the 14th, yesterday's, this guy was the father of qualitative research, had a discussion yesterday, and today it's on teaching students quants in hard enough and whatever. So please log on to this and subscribe, so that you can create an account. It's a free account. You don't have to pay anything, just to keep in touch with any of the methodology discussions that are going on. Okay, back to Sage Research Methods Online. You can browse according to any discipline. So these are all the disciplines that are covered here. It's a growing database. If your discipline is not here, it doesn't mean you cannot use this, because this is a platform for all the methodologies. All the methods are discussed here. It used to be basically only on social sciences, but now they've ventured into business and management, communication and media, computer science. All the other disciplines are actually included now. If you don't find your discipline, it doesn't mean you cannot use it. And you can also browse according to content type, cases, data set, podcasts, and videos. And can you see that some of these topics are locked? It means UNISA does not subscribe to any of these. Anything that you see that has a lock, it means we don't subscribe to it. And under tools, I want to show you that there's a project planner. If you go and click on this project planner, it's such a nice way when you in your journey of research. It starts with what is the philosophy of research, and then it will give you an overview, and then the next, this is the topic of the philosophy of research. So this is how a project is planned. How do you define a topic? If I click here, it will tell me, it will give me an overview on the, it's slow. Any of this, it has a definition of a topic. You'll find an introduction, sort of a layout on how do you define a topic. And this is by this person. So you can cite this, you can download any of these if you want to do that. Reviewing the literature, how do you do that? If you click on it, it will take you through the steps on literature review. How do you do that? Why do I need to do a literature review? So and so, and it's so nice to use. All of you that have just started on their journey, what is research design, planning, research ethics, how do I collect the data, data analysis and interpretation. How do I now, once I have all of this, how do I do the write-up and how do I disseminate my research? So go and look at the project planner if you want to get a hint. And I know some of you are already in the middle of your projects, but it's worthwhile to go back and have a look. Have I been doing the right thing? Look, use this project planner to assist you. Another interesting thing with the SAGE research methods, it's got a methods map. Let's say, for instance, you really are in confusion of, you can't sort of distinguish between qualitative and quantitative. What does it entail? Do I go for qualitative? Do I go for mixed methods? What does mixed methods actually mean? What should I include? What should I, exclude? So there's a under tools, there's what we call a very nice methods map. So what the system does, it's not supposed to do this. My apologies. So something is not right with the system. What the system actually does is that, okay, sorry about that. I'm glad it's happening in front of you so that you can also see that there are times when we also battle. And guess what? I'm on campus. I'm not supposed to have these problems. So what the method maps does is to map methodologies for you. If you're unsure and you just want to confirm that am I in the right space? Can I take this? Can I use this? Does this have to include this or that or that? So the methods, the SAGE research methods will give you a map of methodologies where you can, it has tenterhooks. It tells you where is it now? It should be working. Okay, let's try again. I should be getting a methods map here, but I see it's not working. Oh, there it goes. I was impatient. So when you click on that methods map, it tells you, it defines a research method. What is research method? It gives you it gives you a definition of research methods. Then it maps it for you. It says to you, if you are now undertaking this research methods journey, these are all the concepts you have. There's more. I can just open more. If you undertake this, you have to be going through all of this. So these terms, all of these concepts are components of research methods. In library speaks, we say they are narrower. This is broad, this is narrower. If I were to go inside research design, it will map research design for me. What is research design? It will first give me a definition of what research design is, and then it tells me the components of research design are all of this. If I undertake research design, I should be looking at some of these concepts here. And any of this applied research, behavioral research, case study research, if I want to use any of these components, it maps it for me and tells me if I'm looking at case study research, I should be looking at all of this terms, and it defines a case study research for me. And if I'm undertaking all of this, and any of these will give me, there's a hyperlink of items that are included in my case study. It will give me ebooks, it will give me journal articles, it will give me videos. If we have, like, for instance, this first one, it's something that we don't subscribe to. And on my left-hand panel, I can now start telling the system, I'm actually looking at, you can apply the filters. I can say to the system, because it's giving me all the content, but I can tell the system, I'm actually interested in the content that I'm subscribing to. I don't want to see things that my institution doesn't pay for, and then I apply the filter. And as soon as you apply the filter, you just see the stuff that you are supposed to have access to. Okay, so there's a video. It's less than a minute long. It's on case study research. This is an expert on case studies. You can download this video if you want to, but because I'm logged in and I cannot do one by one stuff, what I can do, I can start adding stuff to my list. Because I'm logged in, I've created an account. I can now, if I'm working on case studies and there are things on this list that I want to add to my list, I can do so. I can either also say, I'm only interested to look at videos today and add some of the videos, or I just want to look at journal articles on this particular topic and add them to my list. If I add these to my list, I have to create a name of a list where I want to add these videos, and then you add. So it will actually open a tab where you can create different folders for different lists. I can have articles on case studies, or I can have articles on interviews. I can have articles on, any methodology that I'm working on, and then divide them according to different lists. I can have videos if I'm doing, interviews. I can have videos on interviews. I can have videos. I can have articles on whatever. So you can divide them into topics, and then just add your list as you go along. So that is why you have to register an account, so that you can't keep on downloading one by one. So it's a mixture of material here, and it's up to you whether you want to filter according to journal articles, or you want to filter according to ebooks, which will include all of this, because they've got their own little green and little blue books, which are written by the experts on a particular topic. So if you want to look at these as well, you can just add them. I can say, I want all of these. You can say all books. Then it gives you only all the books that are available on the system, depending on your methodology. Or I can go back to my research methods and just type anything that I want to on the system and say, I'm just interested to look at anything to do with literature review. Instead of browsing according to topics and I'm looking at literature review as a methodology. So I just browse through here. A method, literature review, or how do I conduct effective literature review? There's a video. Or how do I do a literature review? There's also a video, and then I search. So it will give me information on how do I now go and do a literature review. I can apply the filters if I want to, especially here. I just want to see what it's available for me, only the content that my institution subscribes to, because I don't want to see other people's things which I don't have access to. Then it turns the whole page. It gives me only what I have available on how do I conduct a literature review. It's also a video. There are several videos here because I've asked for that. Actually, I've asked for videos because I want to listen or take notes. How do I now go and do my literature review section? Or you can do a search on anything, that data analysis. How do I do data analysis? Or you can use your methods map. It will give you all the information, because when you click on your methods map, besides doing a search on your methods map, you can just zoom into any methodology and tell the system, I'm actually in qualitative studies or in quantitative. I just want to see what's under this qualitative data analysis or quantitative data analysis. And then it gives you all the terms associated with qualitative. And if you, for instance, if you want to do framework analysis, and then it will give you what does that entail, and then it gives you all the content on framework analysis, whatever, or data analysis, whatever methodology you want to. And then it gives you the information, and then you tell the system, please give me just my own content, because I don't want to see things that I don't have access to. And again, here you can say you're interested only in articles, or you want to look at books, and then you apply the filter, and then it just gives you whatever you have. But every time when you click on that, the content that is available to you, you have to apply so that you get rid of things like this. So I apply. It's very slow. So you apply the filter, then it only gives you what you can have access to. You have created an account. You can now start adding stuff to your list, and then you create folders for those lists. And every time you log in, you just go to your lists, and then you just read it online, or you make notes from there. If you found maybe, let's say, a book, you are able to, this is a book and a reference. If you, let's say, for instance, I want to look at this book, it will allow you to download parts of these books, or you can add it to your list, or you are able to sort of go to the chapters within this book and take some of the chapters and download some of the chapters. Foundation concepts, maybe let's say I'm looking at, I'm interested in chapter 2, then I open this book, I take this chapter. I can add this chapter to my list, or I can download the PDF of this particular chapter if I want to, or I can share it. And it also, what is nice, it will also allow you to cite, or you get a link to this chapter. But I would prefer that you add some of these to your list so that at least everything is in one space. Okay, so please go and use Sage Research Methods online. Subscribe to Method Space so that you can get a hang of the discussions on research methodology, maps or concepts that are being discussed on a weekly basis. You know, get used to it and use your Sage knowledge as a reference source for definition of terms, for whatever you unsure of, so that you get the hang of all the methodology concepts in these three. So it's in one space. It's your Sage Research Methods online, and if you go to the home page, you find all of this embedded. Your Sage Research Methods online does have Sage knowledge, and also does have at the bottom of the page, they also have the method space where you can just go. It's a free account, and I think this is where I'm going to end this.